Welcome and happy EITC Awareness Day. Thank you for joining us on our first tax chat session of 2022. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. This chat is being broadcasted on Facebook Live. If you're joining us live on Facebook or on Zoom and you have a question while we're chatting, feel free to drop it into the chat or the comment section. If you are watching this recorded after the conversation has ended, I still encourage you to put any questions you have in the comments. We will keep an eye on that and we'll follow up if you do have any questions. So why are we here? To celebrate EITC Awareness Day, today's chat will focus on the Earned Income Tax Credit opportunity. My name is Miranda Enquist, and I am Legacy Foundation's Community Engagement Coordinator. Legacy Foundation is Lake County, Indiana's community foundation, and we've partnered with Urban League of Northwest Indiana, Faith CDC, and the South Shore Neighborhood Development Corporation to provide tax assistance to Lake County residents this tax season. I'm joined by my tax experts and colleagues today representing each of these organizations. So before we get started into the questions, let's do a short round of introductions. Tersina, I'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Tersina Jones. I'm with the Urban League of Northwest Indiana, and I am the site coordinator for the Vita program. That's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program.
Wonderful. And we'll move over to Mayoris. You know what, we'll jump over to Donna.
Oh, good morning. I'm Donna Catalano, and I am the Community Development Director for the South Shore Neighborhood Development Corporation. And I am working with Tersina and Faith CDC on getting ready to do tax prep, sitting through Tersina's training session on Vita. So having a great time, learning a lot of things.
Wonderful. And then Kelly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Ano. I'm the Vice President at Legacy Foundation.
And then Mayoris.
Good morning. My name is Mayoris Green. I am a tax manager at Whitaker & Company. I've been there for about 16 years, and I look forward to today's platform and working with everyone throughout the tax season.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's just start off in the beginning. What is EITC? Why are we hearing so much more about it this year? Are things new? This isn't a new thing in total. So what's different about it this year?
Okay, I guess I'll start. EITC is the Earned Income Tax Credit. And there are some changes this year. It's set up to help low to moderate income workers and their families to get tax breaks. If you qualify, you can use the credit, to reduce your taxes that you owe and maybe even to increase your refund.
Wonderful. And you said, if you're eligible, can you provide a little bit more information of who would be eligible for that credit?
To qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit, you must have worked and you must have earned income under the, let's see, I think the dollar amount this year is $57,414. There's a limit on how much investment income you can have in order to qualify for it. And you have to have a valid Social Security number by the time you file your taxes. It's really not very complicated, but it is a great benefit to many of our workers. And just to restate again, you do have to have earned income. Okay.
Wonderful. So what happens, because we know with COVID and everything, there were individuals that, might have lost their jobs. They might have been fully unemployed this past year. Are they still eligible to receive any tax credits? Could they look at, 2019 or 2020 taxes instead of 2021 to earn this?
So as Tersina stated, that it is required to have earned income. Unemployment compensation is not considered earned income. So earned income is something where you would have to go to a physical workplace or work remotely, depending on the agreement with the employer. And so earned income is necessary. So there are other credits that could be available for unemployed compensation recipients, but for the earned income tax credit, that does not apply for unemployed compensation.
So is there a minimum amount of earned income? Can somebody have worked 2 weeks or 1 month out of the year and still qualify?
There is a minimum, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There is a minimum amount and there is a range. So, but it is dependent upon the amount of income that is earned. So there is a very sweet spot. And when I say a sweet spot, I mean that if you're at that exact right number, you can get the maximum amount of the credit, but it is a range, and that range is dependent upon a number of factors. It's dependent upon the amount of the earned income, the number of qualifying dependents on the return, the ages of the qualifying dependents on the return, whether the children were in college. So there are a number of factors. It is available for individuals from the ages of 0 to 64. So just it's age-based, it's income-based, it's college or not based. So there are a number of factors, and there are not a lot of ranges that then affect that. So short answer, yes. But very, very, long, IRS rules and laws, just how they like to make those procedures very long.
And also, just to simplify it a little bit, because people do want to say, well, does that mean I don't qualify? All right, so just give you a couple of things that do not qualify for as earned income. Retirement income does not qualify as earned income. Social Security does not qualify. And as you mentioned already, unemployment benefits, they don't qualify as earned income. And alimony and child support, that type of income does not qualify as earned income. However, if you do have at least $1 in earned income with this new tax law going in, you can qualify for the earned income tax credit. It says you must have had less than $3,600 in investment income. So as I said, there are, as Mayora said, there are some limitations and guidelines, but this year they've made it simpler. They even lowered the age limit. It used to be 25 as a limit, 25 to 65. And, those of us who have made it to that age limit, we may not have made it to 25 yet. I'll laugh and say it that way. Or those who are in that retirement age, you dropped off or you weren't included, but now they're included. If you're as young as 19, and then there's no age limit going forward at least for this tax year for the earned income tax credit. And that is a great benefit.
So then just to clarify, so say that there is an individual who does have some earned income that qualifies for them for the credit, but they are also receiving other forms of income, whether it's other benefits, Social Security, things like that. Would that penalize them at all? Or as long as they're receiving that sweet spot of earned income that qualifies, they're fine?
Go ahead, Mayora.
Yes, they are if they're eligible based on the income guidelines, they are still eligible to receive the earned income credit, even if they have other sources of income, such as Social Security, retirement, and unemployment compensation, as long as they stay under the threshold or within the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also if they're receiving SNAP benefits or SSI or WIC, this doesn't affect that. Any of the child tax credit that you've received, it will not affect your SNAP or WIC benefits.
And we like to see it in writing, different things. So last night I went online and I looked it up, and it said in 2013, Congress enacted legislation that permanently excludes any federal tax refund from counting as income in determining eligibility for any of those agencies. So the amount of the benefit does not qualify as income and won't disqualify them for any of the other benefits. So that was a great thing. And it specifically named benefits as earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and then other tax credits.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Donna, you said the word child tax credits. Just to clarify, this is different than child tax credit, correct? And if someone received advance payments for child tax credit, they can still receive EITC and their second half of the child tax credit, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now we're talking about that sweet spot to earn all of the credits available. Do we have a number of what the maximum benefit is for EITC, or what that range is for what you're potentially able to earn for the credit?
Yes, the range for tax year 2021 is from $1,502 to $6,728, depending on filing status, income, number of children, and all the other factors that have been named so far.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now I have been hearing a lot of, and maybe this doesn't fall into EITC needs, but I've been hearing a lot about these letters from the IRS showing what you have already received in credits the previous year. Is that related? Should people be watching for those? What, can you talk a little bit about those letters?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh,
Yes, the letters went out, and it's very important that when you get those letters that you save them and put them aside for your taxes. Example, if you receive funds for the advanced child tax credit, you won't have to keep a record of, did I get it this month, or how much to get it? When did it start? All those different things. You'll get a letter from the IRS stating exactly how much you received, and you bring that when you file your taxes so that it can be factored in, so that you can get the balance of the child tax credit, as well as just mention it, those stimulus letters that went out. It's important that you hold on to those, because, you know, if you received the stimulus back in January, you may not remember exactly the information. So you get those letters, you put them with your taxes, and you hold on to them and bring them when you file your taxes, and that'll be a great help, a benefit.
And if I could just add, there are two letters. One letter is letter 6419. Letter 6419 will be for the child tax credit advance payments that went out from July through December of 2021. Then there is letter 6475. Letter 6475 details the amount of EIP, which in terms of the IRS is EIP, economic impact payment. Layman's term is the stimulus payment. Letter 6475 will detail the amount of the stimulus payments that were received during 2021. And here is an actual interesting fun fact. I received my letter 6419 a couple of weeks ago, and I got two of them. And I knew how much I'd received. And when I opened the mail, one was addressed to myself and one was addressed to my husband. And so I said, okay, well, we don't need both of them, because clearly we file a joint return. And when I looked at my letter was the exact same as my husband's letter. And we have two children. And what they did was split exactly down the middle, the two different ones, for one for my husband and one for myself, even though we filed a joint return. And I was about to toss one of those letters. Do not toss them. Take anything that you receive to your tax preparer and let the tax preparer make a professional judgment about what is and what is not. And that's just something, even as a qualified taxpayer, that I was really stunned by. So if you receive anything, letter 6419, letter 6475, please hold on to it and set it aside with the rest of your tax documents for preparation.
And that's a great point that you made about that, with them sending the two letters, split down the middle for each of you, because that might be something that you would need in, when you file your taxes. You say you all file a joint return. Everyone does it. So that would be a great benefit.
Yeah, that's very, very valuable to know. Now, I'm guilty of losing mail and accidentally throwing things away. Is there a plan B to get that information if the individual does not have the letter?
We have a plan B. So we thought about a plan B and it went awry. And so we're thinking about a plan C. But our plan B was to have individuals go onto the irs.gov site in our office and start, if they don't have a current login for the irs.gov website to create a login. Well, the new text, gotta love the IRS. We love them. The new ID Me allows you to create an account. And once you create an account, you can retrieve your tax transcripts or any data necessary for tax filing and for the child tax credit and the economic impact payment. However, a very tech savvy person, it took them at least 15 to 20 minutes just to drill down where they needed to get to. So I'll just name a few steps that it takes to create a login. You have to enter a cell phone number, enter an email address. Once you enter that information, you will receive a text message and an email address, which you will get a verification code. You enter the verification code to go to the next step. And then they ask you identity questions. What car did you own in this year? What street have you lived on? Okay. Once you get to that, they ask you to upload a copy of your driver's license. You upload a copy of your driver's license. Once you hit next, they ask you to take a picture of yourself and to upload the picture. So I am telling you, there are major steps that it takes. And so some people can't remember what happened yesterday, much less remember what happened 10 years ago and trying to recreate, different things. And so, yes, to answer your question, there is an alternative way, but be prepared for the steps ahead of what it takes to get to those steps. So if people can go through their bank statements and, retrieve what took place, or if they receive checks, if they can keep the copies, if they have copies of checks, whatever other things, there are a number of resources that we can use, but to go through the IRS system, it's going to be pretty intensive.
So moral of the story, don't lose the letters.
Yes,
Maintain the letter.
because that was our backup plan too. And when you talk about the steps that they have to go through, you have to, as you said, come up with a plan C.
Wonderful. And while we're on the subject, what else? So if an individual was going to be coming to either of you to receive tax assistance, what else should they be prepared to bring with them?
They absolutely need their identification. They're going to need all of their tax documents, W-2s, any income statements. I didn't bring my list handy because there is a list. And actually, those who have access to the IRS website, you can go on and see what ID you need when you're coming into the site. But basically, anything that you would use for filing your taxes, and you definitely need that government ID. Okay, Social Security card, income statements, interest statements. If you have a mortgage and you think you might qualify to itemize your taxes, you want that information. We have information here available at the Urban League that you can pick up and see in advance. We plan to put it on the website, what you need to bring, so that you can see exactly in advance what you would need when you come to file your taxes. And just as an aside, we are doing taxes here at the Urban League, and we have a phone line that you can call in, add your name to that phone line. We'll call you back and set up an appointment for you. And I can give you that number whenever you ask for it.
Wonderful. That's my next question. So Mayors, before I move to the next question, is there anything else you'd like to add in terms of documents that people should be prepared to have?
Yes, a lot of things, one document in particular that causes returns to either get delayed in process or delay the refund is the 1095,
Yes.
What is it? The
Enhanced
health insurance.
Insurance, right.
The health insurance. So for a lot of individuals that receive the Indiana Obamacare, the marketplace insurance, sometimes they get advance payments, they get subsidies on their insurance throughout the year because their income is a certain threshold. But so today I say I made $30,000. Realistically, during the year, I really made $20,000 because you don't know what you're going to do. So it's an estimate. So when that form, that 1095, the health insurance coverage form is filed, it will either increase your refund or could reduce your refund because you've been over subsidized or under subsidized for that insurance plan. And so when the IRS goes to process the return, they'll say, hey, we need to somehow reconcile exactly what happened, but you did not include the health marketplace insurance information. So we reach out to the taxpayer, and the taxpayer is like, well, I never received it. How do I retrieve it? And so if you can get that information in advance, it will help process the return more timely. So that's just one thing that I would just add off the top. That we're used to, There was something else, but I can't remember it. But when I do, I'll chime in.
Yes, please do. So my final question for today is really around localized tax assistance. We see lots of advertisement on TV or in the community around tax assistance. And if someone does not have a regular individual that they go to or company that they go to for tax assistance, what should they be watching to make sure that they're receiving quality and reputable assistance? And then also, since I know both of your organizations provide free tax assistance, if you can just give some more information about how someone can contact you, where they can get started, and everything like that.
Okay. So what I would say to that is, yes, there are a lot of schemes and frauds that take place. And so you want to make sure you can always ask your tax preparer for their qualifications. Their qualifications are to be an enrolled agent, a tax attorney, or a certified public accountant. And a few years ago, the IRS made sure that they really made the tax preparation process a lot more stringent because so many people were providing or performing fraudulent tax returns. And so an enrolled agent means that they have sat through training and took a test to assess their skill set, and they've passed, and the IRS is confident that that individual is competent to prepare returns. A certified public accountant is an individual who has acquired the skills necessary, the education skills and test taking to achieve. And so all of these credentials have been verified with the IRS. And so again, just request qualification from your preparer if you feel that anything is a little sketchy. You can ask the preparer to provide their history. You can ask them to e-file, because if you ask them to do a paper return, sometimes people can write on paper and make things up, but if you e-file it, a lot of times when you e-file a return, the return will get rejected if the social security number is wrong. It will get rejected if the EIN number is wrong from an employer. And so there is some stronger, I can't think of the word, processes in place when you e-file. So ask your preparer to e-file the return. Make sure your preparer is available. And, if you ask for me today, but you get Jane, question why you got Jane and what happened to Mayoras, never sign a blank return. Never, ever sign a blank return. Review your return before you file. So if you know that you made 20,000, but you see your income is listed as 5,000 and so you're getting a higher return or higher refund, question, well, I thought I made 20,000. Why is it so much lower? Or I had student loan debt. I don't see it on here. What happened to it? So don't be afraid to ask questions, know what you're taking. Your tax return is your responsibility. Point blank, your tax return is your responsibility. A lot of times people think that it's the taxpayer's responsibility. No, it is not. Your return is your responsibility. So make sure you know what is on your return, because you have an idea of what's taking place in your life. You know a lot more about yourself than the tax preparer knows. So make sure you review your return and it agrees to the documents that you have taken in.
And just to add on, that was great. She gave all the information we really need. And so our organization, we do free taxes, and we have volunteers that do the taxes, but even they have to certify to the IRS level. We have to test, and it's a yearly thing. It's an annual thing. It's not like you get certified this year and next year you can file taxes without recertifying. You have to certify every year. The testing is quite stringent. You can ask Donna. It's not a simple process. And anytime anyone wants to volunteer, I warn them up front, It's not like an easy process. Even if you've done taxes in the past for other people, you know, you do your own or family, the IRS has guidelines. And when we do our taxes, we are actually representing the IRS. But as Mayorga said, you are, bottom line, responsible for those taxes being correct. So you want to make sure that you're using people who are certified, who know what they're doing, and who will stand by it. And as you said, who will be there if you have questions later on that your questions can be answered. So there are guidelines, and we do have qualified people, and we do the very best we can to process quality taxes and represent not only the IRS, but represent our clients well.
Wonderful. Thank you for that information. And then Tersina, if you could just provide, if someone was interested in utilizing the Vita program for their tax assistance, where do they call or where do they go?
Okay, you call our tax line number here at the Urban League, and that number is 219-980-2093. You will call in. We ask that you leave your name and a daytime callback phone number, because we make appointments and we do call you back. And we ask that when you call in, you leave your name. If you have an odd name like mine, you might want to spell it and speak slowly. And you might even want to repeat your phone number. You know, we're going to repeat it so that we get it down, but we want to make sure that we're contacting you the best way possible. So again, that's 219-980-2093. And we are located at the Urban League, 3101 Broadway in Gary.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Any final thoughts before we close out? I know I learned a lot of information today, but any last thoughts?
I do have one last thing. If you claim the earned income credit, you cannot receive your tax refund before February 15th. And a lot of people have concerns like, well, it's the middle of January. I have all of my information. I gotta wait that long. And the answer is yes. A few years ago, Congress passed a law saying that because this is, I don't want to say it's free money, but it's a credit, and it's meant to have low to moderate income families. And so individuals were saying, well, hey, they're getting their refund faster than people that's, you know, working hard and carrying the system. And so Congress did enact that individuals that receive the earned income credit cannot receive their refund before February 15, 2022. And just this is Mayorga speaking. The longer the money sits at the IRS bank account, the longer the greater potential it has to earn interest, right? And so if we're giving this money away sooner than we should, we're losing on the potential of earnings that, you know, we can earn. And so that's just my perspective, but it's a Congress thing. So I didn't make the law, but a lot of times we get asked that question. And so I just wanted to put that out there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Like I said, I learned a lot of information. So I do want to make note that we will be continuing these short tax chats. Our next topic will be the child tax credit. So be sure to keep an eye out for the event posting. And once again, thank you for joining us. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, and the same to you.